Well. You are about to make two very, very smart decisions today. One is that you have already made a smart decision to watch The Political Insider. And the second smart decision that you can make is to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We've got some targets. We want you to hit that button, subscribe, hit the bell so that you can get the notifications. Thank you for joining me here in The Political Insider. Let's talk about our Madlanga Commission, where we saw somebody almost walking into jail yesterday. It was the most crazy day of testimony I have seen in these commissions. And that person was Lieutenant General Sonona, head of the Hawks in KwaZulu-Natal. And he kicked off by saying, this guy is a genius. For starters, he kicked off by having a lawyer there the previous day saying how he doesn't want to be there for more than one day. Well, this guy's going to be there for at least 3 or 4 days, and quite rightly. He is a piece of work, and he is there's literally one stop towards a jail time or a demotion or who knows what. But this person is not going to walk away from this particular commission unscathed. There's no doubt. So let's talk about what Sonona had to say at the Madlanga Commission yesterday. For starters, he said that he had no idea that, you remember yesterday we reported how he had met Kat Matlala at Sonona's own traditional wedding, and he fell in love with the guy. He was so humble and respectful, and they became like brothers. Like brothers. They keep on talking about like brothers. He's kicked off yesterday by saying he had no idea that Kat Matlala was implicated in the whole Tembisa hospital scandal, and that he had no idea that Kat Matlala was associated with the assassination of Babita Deokaran. He said he's not somebody who watches the news, and the first time he heard of Matlala's involvement in the whole Tembisa hospital affair, from the looting to the assassinations, etc., was when he got the pack at the Madlanga Commission. Until then, he thought that Matlala was quite an upstanding guy. And he said that he was, he does his work. He doesn't follow the news. That isn't what he does. He's so busy fighting crime that he had no idea that Matlala was actually this criminal syndicate runner. He just thought he was this respectful, humble brother. He said, when pressed, he said he didn't go and check up, even though he's got this very senior position in the police force. He says he doesn't abuse his position by going to check up on his new friends. No, he just assumes they're all good guys. But then later on in his testimony, when it turned out that he had sent Kat Matlala some very sensitive police information, he said, no, he got that out of the news, even though it was actually an official police memo. He said, no, it's because he follows the news. Now, which one is it? Does the guy follow the news? Because he started off by saying he didn't know Kat Matlala's record and the whole Tembisa hospital scandal because he doesn't follow the news. Now, later on, he is caught sending Matlala news of some high-profile kidnappings that were taking place in the area where Matlala was living. And yeah, you've got the police chief of the Hawks head in KZN telling the criminal mastermind, be careful because these other criminals, they are kidnapping people in your area. He says he was just doing this because this was like a brother and he didn't want him to get, hurt. And he knew that this guy was a very wealthy businessman, but he didn't know how he made his money. Right? He even went as far as telling Kat Matlala that Kat Matlala should sue the South African Police Service because they didn't want to proceed with his tender that he got. Once again, if you're watching this from outside South Africa, please understand what we do in South Africa. One of South Africa's biggest criminals got a 360 million rand tender from the police to check the health of policemen. I am not making this up. This really, really happened. And here you've got a general in the police telling the crook to go and sue the police so that he can get his money. And he said, no, there's nothing wrong in that. It's just unbelievable. I thought that Justice Madlanga and his fellow commissioners were going to die. I thought they were going to burst. They couldn't believe what they were listening to. That a general in the police service think it's fine to have a crook for a friend, fine to tell his crook, be careful because people might kidnap you, and to tell his friend, listen, you should. His very words was, go for it, sue them, speak to your lawyers. Right? The person who should really be sitting at the Madlanga Commission should be the person who signed off on Senona's appointment into such a senior position in the South African Police Service. Somebody made the decision to appoint this low IQ, by his own admission, friend of a crook, a guy who seemingly puts his own personal relationships ahead of the well-being of the citizens of the country. So what didn't come out yesterday, and I'd love to ask the question, is who thought that Senona was a good appointment to the Hawks? I mean, the fact that, you can't blame somebody for being what they are, and quite clearly Senona is a low-level person himself who consorts with criminals, gives them advice, doesn't really care about the safety of South Africans. That is obvious. But I would love to know who was responsible for his appointment and why aren't they being held to account at commissions like this. It's crazy and disturbing that senior policemen could behave like this. And of course, it begs the question, if generals in the police service are behaving like this, how on earth do you expect the constable in the police service to do his job properly? When he can look at his boss swanning around with crooks like Kat Matlala. How do you, as a normal young policeman who joins the police service, what is your motivation to do your job well? It can't be that you have a motivation to do your job well. So this is having exactly the consequence that one could expect. Crooked cop at the top, what do you expect at the bottom? Whoever thought that putting Senona there should be at the commission, and Senona himself is going to pay a very steep price for this little trip to the commission, and I think that's why he was so desperate when he first appeared to say, look, I'm only going to be here for a while because my employers won't let me come and speak to you for longer than one day, and he was quickly put straight on this. These commissions are starting to be fascinating. It was very interesting to find out that the commission can at any stage refer people for prosecutions or for further action. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens, but this one is a cut and dried affair. By the man's own admission, he should be held to account. Talking about beautiful people and commissions, how about our friend Brown Mokgotsi, the contact agent, Mr. James Bond, South Africa's own version. He is refusing to appear before the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee unless Parliament pays Brown Mokgotsi for his own security team to come with him for 7 days to Cape Town. He says, unless this happens, I'm not coming to the Parliamentary Committee meeting, which just goes to show the kind of disrespect that public officials have for our Parliament. And the way Parliament behaves, I suppose it's pretty well earned. Well, we are seeing some stuff. But I have got some good news for you for a change, and this is really good news. And before I pass on that good news, I've got other good news, and that is to remind you about our breakfast that takes place. Last chance to book for the 4th of February in Pretoria, where we are going to hear from Davy Ruet and Bonsai Shongwe, or the 13th of February, the day after the President does his State of the Nation address. It will be analysed by Moletsi Mbeki and Mighty Jamie in Sandton. More information below. Come and join us on the day. I promised you some good news. You're going to get it. How about something? We need to grab any little bit of good news, and that is that the Richards Bay coal terminal, one of the biggest coal terminals in the world. The idea way back when was to create a terminal specifically for coal exports. Trains that go directly from coal mines to Richards Bay, they get put in a big yard, gets dumped on ships, and away it goes. Pretty smooth operation that has created a lot of foreign exchange earnings for South Africa until the comrades decided to rip up the train service, to order the wrong trains from China, and to destroy our entire coal export industry, which really, really damaged our coal exports. Well, in 2025, at the Richards Bay Coal Terminal, they shipped 57.66 million tons of coal, which is up by more than 10% on the previous year. The reason was that they replaced the Zuma purchased bad Chinese locomotives with more efficient and faster and more reliable French locomotives. And this should lead to at least another 10% increase in coal exports for 2026. And they're even eyeing a total export of 65 million tons. Now, this is the start of money coming into the economy, which should lead to growth. Now that the international war on coal has subsided, it means that people will be using coal for their power stations for the foreseeable future, and South Africa can get some well-needed, desperately needed foreign exchange earnings. So this is the sign of people doing their jobs or being allowed to do their jobs. And if you're a fan of the way our Transnet infrastructure was destroyed, or Eskom, vote for Mkhonto weSizwe, because that's where all of those people who did it are. To the rest of the country, I think we are pretty delighted to see more foreign exchange earnings coming from Richards Bay. The Johannesburg Development Agency boss and acting CEO of Johannesburg Development Agency, as well as the Johannesburg Social Housing Company, two big portfolios, a gentleman by the name of Themba Matibe, was arrested at his home for corruption. It was reported that in addition to the arrest, they found a large amount of cash in his home. Apparently, this was the Special Investigations Unit, which has been investigating Matibe for a long time. It has been the most open secret that the income don't equal the outcome, and Matibe has been at the helm of this. He was appointed 2 years ago as the CEO of the development agency, having previously been the chief operating officer at the social housing company. We've got too many companies in Johannesburg that run these things. And once again, you start an organization with no real mandate, with no real job like the development agency. What do you expect? Money comes in, you can hide it in a different way, and it goes to your mates. There were governance concerns about Matibe's movement between these entities, and the city of Johannesburg said that this arrest has got nothing to do with the adverse findings of the Auditor General relating to procurement compliance, contract management, weak internal controls, and inadequate consequence management. When in actual fact, we know, City of Johannesburg, that it's got to do with those things. So finally, somebody being arrested, the wheels are starting to turn. Bad time to be a crook, bad time to lie to the public. Until the government works out a way to shut down channels like this, we're going to keep this kind of news coming to you so that you know the good guys are and who the bad guys are, and hopefully the news gets out and people know who to vote for. But we did vote for some beauties, and they are still in our government. And who says that our government is out of touch with what you and I want? In fact, they have done exactly what we are dying for in this country. No, it's not a tax cut, common sense policies, or crack down on corruption, or sending crooked people to jail. No. The government listened to us, and they heard us, and they've given us another commission of inquiry. Yeah, yet another commission of inquiry. If I'm not mistaken, we've got about 3 or 4 on the go at the moment. That's what the courts are there for, mind you. A commission of inquiry is just another court, but without sending people to jail. So it's like a hearing that should lead to a court case, but it's often used as just a way to stall the justice system. What justice system are they trying to stall this time? Well, this is the commission that's going to investigate the recent insurrection. You know that South Africa had a very bad insurrection, which in any country would be front page news around the world. When senior members of the South African Defence Force defied, disregarded, ignored an instruction, a presidential order, according to our president, to remove Iran from the naval exercises which took place in Cape Town recently. Now, this thing, this is one of those where it's always fun until someone loses an eye. We all thought we were having a lot of fun by inviting every bad guy in the world to do naval exercises in the South African waters, knowing there would be international repercussions, but we went ahead anyway. This particular commission of inquiry is going to look into the fact that the president gave an order. Who didn't follow the order? Like you would have thought you get those 10 people around a table and you say, did you pass the order on? Did you pass the order on? Etc., etc. But no, we have to have, at great expense, let's get a commission of inquiry. This one's going to be headed by retired Judge Bernard Mwepe, and he was going to be supported by Judge all-retired Mashanga Liu and Judge Kathy Satchwell, as well as a retired Rear Admiral by the name of Patrick Duze. They're going to have to do the work that quite clearly our Ministry of Defence won't do or our presidency won't do, where they literally get people in saying, I want answers and I want answers now. But no. What we need is a commission, not a court-martial or a good old-fashioned firing. Instead, we're going to get another commission of inquiry. We thought that from the start, hosting a naval exercise in our waters with highly controversial international navies was always going to lead to problems, especially when a couple of those navies belong to countries who have just invaded a sovereign country next door, and navies that belong to countries who gunned down thousands of peaceful protesters. We thought this was a good idea. Why do we think that they're putting in another commission of inquiry rather than a court case or a court-martial? Well, it's quite obvious. It's to try and whitewash the whole thing, to give it a veneer of them doing something and to eventually make the whole thing go away, and then your comrades don't end up in jail, as they should. It's also very performative, so that President Ramaphosa and his mates in Durko can go to Washington and say how shocked they were that the naval exercises took place and that their instructions to remove Iran was not followed. And here's the proof that we're doing something about it. We've got a commission of inquiry. Obviously, this is going to come at enormous cost to you and I, the taxpayer, and the government. On behalf of the government, I am sure they're very grateful for your tax money. Everybody out there, every time you buy a cool drink, you're paying VAT. That's going towards paying for another commission of inquiry. Thank you very much. The country, the government thanks you for your contribution. Please remember to vote them in the next time there's an election. Thank you for joining us on The Political Insider. Subscribe to the channel. We'll see you again soon. State of the Nation fans, have we got great news for you? We are coming to you. State of the Nation will be kicking off 2026 with 2 great breakfasts. On the 4th of February, we will be going to Pretoria, where we will have the ever-popular Dawie Root and Bonsai Shongwe on our panel. And on the 13th of February, the day after President Ramaphosa delivers his State of the Nation, we'll be analyzing that talk with the legend that is Moletsi Mbeki and Mighty Jamie. If you want to join us at this event, please visit our website, sona.co.za, that's sona.co.za, and you can book your place, book a table, bring your whole company with. We'll see you there.